Nick Baldwin for SevereMMA here with UFC flyweight contender Tim Elliott here at Xtreme Couture in Las Vegas, Nevada. Tim, appreciate you taking the time. It's good to talk to you again. It's been a while. This has been a bit of a tough year for you. You haven't fought since the end of 2017. Your win over Mark De La Rosa. A little while after that, you were just telling me you tore just about every ligament in your knee, it seemed. How would you describe, before we talk about recovery and things like that, how would you describe this past year and how has it been for you?
Man, it's been one of the hardest years of my life as far as MMA goes. I mean, my coach, Robert Fallis, passed away. Had a fight fall out. I had a fight that I wasn't really excited about at 135, and then shortly after, I tore my ACL, LCL, MCL, PCL, meniscus. So it's been a rough year as far as MMA goes, but other than that, like, life is good. I've got my daughter full time, and I got a great girlfriend and a great gym, a great team here. So things are looking up as far as I can train full time now, and I'm ready to fight again. So I'm just waiting on the call now.
Okay. How long? I mean, again, as you said, ACL, meniscus, MCL. That sounds severe, right? How long did it take to reach where you are now, fully recovered?
It's been over a year since my surgery, and like, I've been training full time now. My knee feels great. It's the rest of my body that's kind of slow. After not getting hit for a year, not getting kicked for a year, not getting choked on for a year, like, every little thing hurts. So every time somebody kicks me in the legs or punches me in the body, my body hardness has kind of gone down a little bit. So that's been the only really downside. But now I can train full time, and the knee feels great.
Has the past year, just not being able to get into the cage, has it been difficult financially for you? Have you had to go out and do little odd jobs or anything like that?
I was lucky enough to save a little bit of money after the Demetrius Johnson fight and winning the Ultimate Fighter, and my last fight winning a bonus in it. So like, that money's running out now, and I'm needing a paycheck at some point. But I've been lucky enough as far as like not being able to compete. My girlfriend has fought twice in the UFC since then, and I'm able to train and stay in the limelight a little bit, like helping her, and that keeps me sane as far as like not being able to train and not being able to do all the things that I want to do. I kind of do through her, so I've been lucky in that sense.
And so you said you're ready to go. You are just waiting for the call at this point?
Yeah, I'm ready. They told me September or August to be ready. They offered me July 13th with Jordan Espinoza. I talked to my therapist, the physical therapist, and I talked to my strength coach. They thought that was a little early. I thought it was a little early. So I ended up bailing on that fight and telling them, I asked for that opponent for August. They said no, they couldn't do that. So they said be ready September or August, and I'm already ready. I'm ready to go right now.
Talk to me about the flyweight division. I think during your time off, there's been some interesting things at 125 pounds. In the rankings, yourself included, there's like 12 or 13 flyweights. Dana White says the division isn't going anywhere. I think the numbers might beg to differ. What do you make of everything that's going on there?
Man, it's hard to say. My last fight was at 135, so I thought that's where they wanted me to fight. And then I got a call saying that I was back in the rankings at 25. So I talked to my manager. I was like, hey, I think they want me to fight at 25. And he was like, no, they're cutting the guys that fight at 25. And, they let a bunch of good guys go. Brandon Moreno, Shorty Torres, like a bunch of really good guys. And every time after they lost, they just let those guys go. So I didn't really understand what was going on. But, I've been sitting out for a year, and now I'm just cracked the top 5 in the rankings. So it's been good for me, I guess. But who knows? I don't want to abandon the division. I think that a lot of guys jumped ship because they thought they had no choice. So they moved up to 35. But I don't want to be one of the guys that just moved on my own free will. Like, if the UFC wants me to fight at 35, they're going to have to, tell me to go up to 35. I want to be one of the guys that keeps the division around. For guys like Joseph Benavidez and Demetrius Johnson, the like super little guys, and the millions of Asian fighters that they're going to be after building the Shanghai PI, there's going to be a ton of little guys coming in, and there's a ton of little guys that can fight. And I just kind of got a bad rap. So I don't think the division's going anywhere, and I'm going to stay around at flyweight as long as I can.
Why do you think we're in this period where, as I said, I mean, there's limited number of flyweights, but Dana still says it's not going anywhere? I mean, we don't really know what's happening, and this has been the case for coming on to a year now. Why is it not just a matter of either we're shutting it down or we're keeping it? It seems very gray, not black and white.
Well, I think they jumped the gun a little early by saying, if they don't do this, then we're going to get rid of the division. And then Cejudo won the belt. And then Cejudo was going to fight TJ, and it was if he doesn't win, then we're going to lose a division. And then Cejudo beat TJ, and then Cejudo went up and beat the 35-pound champ. So people saying like, little guys just can't compete, and watching these guys, it's bullshit because Cejudo is a little guy. He's a 25-pounder, and he just beat the best one of the best bantamweights ever at flyweight, and then just won the 35-pound belt as well. So I feel like they kind of lost that, the little guys can't do thing, and I think it's going to come around. But obviously, I feel like it has to have something to do with the UFC PI in Shanghai. There's a bunch of little guys out there. They just built this institute. There has to be a reason for it. So hopefully that will help build the division as far as that goes, putting more little guys and building that 12 or 13-man roster.
Why do you think it is important for the UFC to keep the division around?
I mean, there's like I can fight at 135. It wouldn't be that big of a change for me to fight at 135. But there are guys out there that have no business fighting at 135. Demetrius Johnson, he's a little bitty dude. I know he's fought at 35, but he has no business fighting at 35. Joseph Benavidez, he shouldn't have to go up and fight at 35. He's put in his time fighting bigger guys. Now he's at a weight class that he helped build. He has no reason, and I don't think that any little guy should have to move up. The weight class was created after they said it wouldn't be. Women are fighting in the UFC now. It goes down to 115. There's 103 pounds in boxing, professional boxing. So it's not that odd to keep the division around. And especially now with the PI in Shanghai, I feel like that's going to really fill that roster. And there's going to be a market and need for 125.
Henry Cejudo moving up to bantamweight, winning that title, do you think that was a good thing in terms of keeping the flyweight division around, or did it potentially hurt the chances of it sticking around?
It's a good thing if he plans on defending the belt at flyweight. If he doesn't plan on defending the belt at flyweight, it's a bad thing because he's a big draw now. He did the impossible. You can't deny his skill, and you can't deny his work ethic and everything that he's accomplished. But he hasn't defended at flyweight, and until he does, it's a pain for the flyweights. But at the same time, he kept us around by beating TJ and making all the little guys look good by going up and beating a big solid bantamweight.
What do you make of his gimmick? Triple C, all these titles, the Olympic medal, maybe moving up to featherweight, all this thing. Henry is full of talk. I mean, he's a great fighter, but he talks quite a bit. What do you make of him outside the cage right now?
I think it's good for him. It's not the fight game. It's an entertainment game. If you're not entertaining, then people don't want to watch you. And it doesn't matter if people love you or if they hate you. The ticket sells the same. So if you want to buy a ticket to see him get beat or to win, it doesn't matter to him, and it doesn't matter to the UFC. So that's not my style, but more power to him. It's like I said, he's entertaining. People hate him and people love him, and that's what it takes to sell tickets, and he's doing that right now.
What do you make of Demetrius Johnson going over to one a couple months ago? Were you surprised by it, taken off guard a little bit, or did you sort of see something like this coming?
I saw it coming for a while. I'm surprised that it took this long, but he had an opportunity to really market himself and to help the division, I think. And he relied too much on the UFC to make that happen, to make a star out of him. Although he's one of the greatest fighters, again, it's entertainment. It's not just fighting. You can't just win fights. That's not enough for people. It's got to be entertaining. People they need that Conor McGregor it factor. And Demetrius Johnson didn't show that here in the U.S., but I feel like in one that he'll be able to. I feel like over there he'll create real fans.
Talk to me about this purple hair. I dig it. Matching with your girlfriend Gina. I guess that's part of it, anyways. Or all of it?
Yeah, she just had some dye left over, and I was like, fuck it, let's do it. I used to change my hair quite a bit right before a fight. I thought I was going to be fighting possibly on July 13th, so I went ahead and changed it up. But since I'm not fighting, I'm going to keep it around until September or August.
So after that, go back to blonde, dirty blonde, or keep the purple around for a little bit, maybe?
Who knows? I'll let it grow.